Right now, the building you're in is moving. Not by much, maybe 2 or 3 centimeters. But every tall building sways, and the taller it goes, the harder it swings. Taipei 101 is 508 meters tall, and in a typhoon, its top can drift almost a meter. So engineers did something that sounds ridiculous. They hung a 660-ton steel ball near the top, a giant golden orb bolted to nothing structural. It's called a tuned mass damper. And it kills the sway using the same physics that makes a kid on a swing impossible to push at the wrong moment. So why does a 508-meter tower need a wrecking ball inside just to stand still? Here's the answer, and it's dumber than the question. That golden ball holds nothing up. It's a pendulum, a really heavy one. Engineers tuned it to swing at the same speed the building sways, but in the opposite direction. Tower leans left, the ball lags right. They cancel. I'll call it the counterswing because that's the whole job. It doesn't fight the wind and it doesn't reinforce a single beam. It just leans the other way, over and over, forever. The building moves, the ball moves back. You just don't notice. First, the part your body already knows. Right now on a high floor, your inner ear is doing math you never agreed to. Those tiny fluid-filled canals behind your eardrum track motion? That's how you keep your balance. On the 60th floor of a swaying tower, they pick up a slow drift your eyes can't confirm. Your eyes say the room is still, your ears say you're on a boat. Your brain, honestly, panics. That mismatch has a name older than any skyscraper. Seasickness. The building moves, you just don't notice, until your stomach does, and the taller you build, the worse it gets. A short building is stiff. A 508-meter one is basically a very expensive diving board bolted to the ground, and wind leans on it the whole way up. Taipei 101 topped out in 2004, held the world's tallest title until 2010, and on a bad day, its peak drifts almost a full meter. Not because it's weak, because it's tall, and tall things flex. Steel wants to sway. That's not a flaw, that's just what a kilometer of glued-together metal does when the sky pushes on it. And you're sitting inside that flex, whether your stomach has noticed yet or not. But that can't be the full answer, because you can't just hang a heavy ball and hope. The trick is timing. Think of a kid on a swing. Push at the right moment, they go higher. Push at the wrong moment, dead against them, and they stop cold. The counter swing is that wrong moment push on purpose, 660 tons of it. The sphere hangs from 92 steel cables strung between the 87th and 92nd floors, 5.5 meters across, tuned so its natural rhythm matches the towers. Underneath sit 8 fat hydraulic pistons, there to bleed off the energy. When the two line up out of phase, the ball steals the tower's motion. Sway drops by 30 to 40%. A giant pendulum, quietly robbing a skyscraper of its wobble. Here's a detail that breaks my brain a little. This thing is a tourist attraction. You can buy a ticket, ride to the 89th floor, and stand next to a 1660-ton emergency device like it's an aquarium exhibit. They gave it a cartoon mascot. There are gift shop keychains. Meanwhile, the actual job it does is grim. Every sway cycle flexes the steel and flex metal enough times and it gets tired and cracks, the same way a paperclip snaps after you bend it back and forth. The counterswing cuts the number of bends. So the golden orb you're taking selfies with is quietly buying the tower decades of extra life. And here's where it gets stupid. You probably learned that resonance is exotic. The thing that shatters a wine glass, or the story about soldiers marching in step and collapsing a bridge. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge in 1940 is the poster child, twisting itself apart on film in a light wind. But the schoolbook version is wrong. That collapse wasn't simple resonance, and it was aeroelastic flutter, a different beast, and physicists have been correcting that caption for 80 years. Resonance isn't rare, and it isn't dramatic. It's this boring. It's a building and the wind finding the same beat and a golden ball hired to break it up. Which raises a different, dumber question. Does the thing actually work? In 2015, Typhoon Soudelor hit Taipei, and the counterswing swung a record meter tied to a 5.5-meter sphere sliding a full meter sideways while the people below kept sipping coffee. And it's not a one-off gimmick. When London opened the Millennium Bridge in 2000, thousands of pedestrians made it wobble so badly they closed it after 2 days. Everyone unconsciously stepping in sync, feeding the sway. The fix? Dampers, same idea. Your own footsteps built a resonance nobody ordered, feeding a little push into the deck on every stride until it swung like a rope bridge, and a chunk of tuned metal had to unorder it. The bridge moved. People just didn't notice they were doing it. Same lesson, 40 stories lower. So here's the reversal. The counter swing isn't protecting the building. Steel skyscrapers don't tip over in wind. They're built far stronger than they need to be. The 660-ton pendulum, the world's most expensive paperweight, the golden panic ball, whatever you want to call it, it isn't saving the tower. It's saving you, your lunch, your inner ear. The whole apparatus exists so a person on the 89th floor doesn't feel queasy signing a lease. We built a tower so tall it makes us seasick, then hung a wrecking ball inside to fix a problem we invented. The building was always fine. You were the fragile part. And that's the thing everyone gets wrong about the swaying. The scariest building isn't the one you feel move. It's the one so rigid it can't. A little sway means it's flexing instead of cracking. So, the safest tower on Earth is one your stomach quietly hates. We are very good at building things our own bodies were never meant to sit inside and then engineering our way back to comfortable. Somewhere over Taipei right now, a golden ball is swinging the wrong way on purpose, just so a stranger doesn't get seasick at work. The building moves, you just don't notice. Now you know, sorry.